Hey, my name is Brian DeRizzo. I'm the Senior PR Manager for NVIDIA.
Hi everyone, my name is Mick Davudian.
My name is Leslie Peritano.
I'm Matt Widener.
My name's Stephen Kasapi. I'm a debug engineer at NVIDIA.
I handle all the GeForce PR, which means I get to play games and play with graphics hardware.
I'm technical marketing analyst.
And I do a lot of the marketing that we do around games.
I've been here for about 10 years.
And I've worked at NVIDIA for 5 days now.
And I love what I do. It's a great company, and I mostly like the atmosphere, which is really no BS.
And, oh yeah, I'm also gay.
I mean, I was a tomboy, all from, as long as I can remember, 3 years old, my best friends were the boys in the neighborhood.
I guess to some extent I've always known, but it wasn't until high school, I think, that I realized I probably was gay.
For me, it was roughly in the teenage years that I kind of zeroed in on something that was a little different, and I wasn't sure what to make of that.
So I think I realized I was first gay when I came out of my mom's womb.
I didn't think about my sexuality until later on, probably middle school years, and that's really where I began to realize that my crushes weren't with the guys, my crushes were with girls.
But I didn't come out to anyone until college, came out to a few friends.
But it wasn't anything I could talk about or really articulate to myself, because the words gay, homosexual, all of that, they were just bad words. It was about bad people.
Then in grad school, I came out to my family and pretty much everyone I could find. And it wasn't until much later that I came out to my parents.
I spent a lot of time just dealing with it and trying to be straight and dating guys. I even married, and that's when I came out, was when I was married.
I have a brother who's also gay who came out to them, and it was pretty rough because my parents are they're both immigrants from a really small towns and in a small country. So they really didn't have vocabulary to deal with him being gay, let alone another son being gay.
I remember going to my mom and saying, "Hey, Mom, I'm in this marriage, and and what do? I need some help." And the response that I got at the time was, let's try and fix you. We'll figure out why you're this way. You're fine. Just stay in your marriage, and it'll all work out. We'll fix it. To which I kind of said, "Well, I was just kidding. Don't worry about it." And I went back in the closet, and I stayed there for about 3 years.
It took me a long time, really long time, to be comfortable with myself and to finally get to that point in time where I want to tell my family.
My thought was, if my mom wasn't going to be there for me, and if she wasn't going to support me, then who was? And I'm just kind of stuck.
So it got kind of ridiculous because my brother was bringing his partner to Christmas, and everyone was happy about it. And here I am, weirdly still in the closet.
It's taken time. So my mom didn't change overnight. My dad didn't change overnight.
And my dad wanted to come down from Canada to visit. I live in California, so he was coming down for a little stay. So what I did was I sent my dad a card. And in the card, I basically said, I hate for the fact that I'm telling you this way. I hate for the fact that it took me a long time to tell you this, but I want you to know before you come down, before you get on that plane, that I'm gay. And if there's any reason whatsoever that you think that you can't come down, that you don't want to visit right now, I understand. And he says to me on the phone, he goes, "You know what? I got your card, I got your note. I don't think I can come down." So I really wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't sure if he was going to call me back in a week, call me back in 2 months, or never talk to me again.
I'm really, really, really proud of my parents. I'm really proud of my mom and where she's come, and of my dad. It's grown to the point where when California was legal to be married, my whole family was there. My mom was there. My grandparents, who were 94 and 92 years old, were there, and they were all giving me marital advice and supporting me, and they really have wrapped themselves around me now, and I feel so comfortable and so happy with my family.
And my dad called me back the next day, and he goes, "You know what?" He goes, "You're my son, I love you. I'm going to come down and visit you guys." And that's what happened. That's how I came out to my dad.
One Christmas, my mom kind of pulled me aside and said, "Stephen, we want to come to San Francisco, and we want to meet your boyfriend, or your partner." And then I thought, well, I guess I'm out to everyone now. So they came out, they met, and everything's been pretty fantastic since then.
It was the best thing I possibly could have done, was coming out to my dad, getting married, coming out to my friends, because you know what? At the end of the day, you know who your true friends are, because they're the ones that stick by you and support you.
My story is that my best friend transitioned from male to female. His name was Dan, and we grew up in a small town in the mountains of Santa Cruz called Ben Lomond. Not a lot of tolerance there. Dan never felt like he could reveal his gender identity issues, not even to me, his best friend.
My first real boyfriend, his name was Glenn, and we were together for a couple of years, almost 2 years. Unfortunately, what I thought was the perfect relationship and seeing myself with him for the rest of my life, although he probably felt the same, it wasn't to be. He came from a large military family, really homophobic, with F words flying around. He would tell me at dinner time there would be faggot jokes being told right in front of him.
I can only speak from personal experience, but my friend transitioning genders threw me for a loop. I had to adjust to her at first, and I had to be a bit patient. And frankly, it is a process for everyone around someone who is transitioning.
And he was completely closeted and oftentimes really scared to be seen out. Not that we would even hold hands outside, but just the fact that we'd be seen somewhere and somebody would ask, who is this person? So deep in the closet.
Dan chose the name Marissa and began transitioning. Marissa currently works in a high-profile tech company. They were very accepting of her decision to transition.
This was in Los Angeles. I wanted to go to West Hollywood and walk around and go to the clubs, and we couldn't do any of that. So everything we did was, rent a movie on the VHS and watch it, or do some really hidden stuff.
My brother became, in essence, my sister. I know that's not everyone's experience, but Marissa has told me that it's more common for you to keep your friends than lose them.
Glenn decided he just couldn't reconcile the fact that he was gay with what was expected of him in life, and he shot himself and left me to deal with a whole fiasco. And it took a good decade before I was able to get past all the what ifs and what could I have done and why didn't I see it coming, all those huge guilt trips.
The first thing I can tell people that if you're struggling with this, if you're wondering what to do, who to talk to, just know that there's a lot of people around you that will support you, that will love you for who you are, and not judge you for any of that.
So if you are thinking about suicide, know that you're not alone. Know that it's not the right solution. You're going to leave a path of destruction behind you for everyone who loves you. And even though at this time you may think they don't love you or they don't care, believe me, a lot of them do, and you will devastate them.
The effort of staying in the closet is worse is worse than the effort you imagine you're going to have to deal with if you come out. I know it's not true for everyone. If you live in a small town in the Midwest or you're in a small, tight-knit community you don't think will be accepting, it can be very, very difficult and very isolating.
Because at the end of the day, I can guarantee you this, I've seen it firsthand from my friends, your true friends will stick by you. They're going to be loyal to you 100%.
I guess my advice in that situation is leave or find a community which will accept you. It's not your job to change your whole world, but it is your job to kind of see what you've got in store for yourself.
There are some amazing resources out there. Most metropolitan towns have lesbian and gay centers with unbelievable resources. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, you still have online resources. You can pick up the phone, call the Trevor Project. Just call and talk to someone who will hear you.
Make sure that you take advantage of those opportunities. Because once you get through this, I know kids in school can be mean. They were mean to me too back in the day. They're probably even meaner today. But you're going to be the better person at the end of all this. Right? You're going to be the stronger person, and you're going to be the guy or the girl with a cool-ass job at a cool-ass company, talking to a camera about your life and how great your life is.
Say it with me. It gets better.
You may not think it now. It may seem impossible, but it gets better.
Let me tell you, it does get better.
Remember, it gets better.